Welcome back to Factorio SpaceX Extreme Edition, where let's just unpause. As you can see, I've done a small amount of work. I'll quickly show you what I've done. Not really that much. I've removed the original area where we were getting the landfill and moved the main bus through here, the main bus in terms of rail. We have split into this iron patch because, quite frankly, it's still at 9.3 million. Even though we have 3 trains servicing it to try and strip it bare faster, it's kind of still in the way. I haven't changed this to a rubbish tip yet, although a rubbish tip, well, it's never going to be a rubbish tip, it's going to be a rubbish pickup. And in fact it shouldn't actually be open like that, so there's an issue anyway. But once it's changed to a rubbish station, we'll sort that out. I have moved this one up in preparation, and that's about it. That's all I've had time for while satellites have launched all the way up to 171. Why 171? Well, I think they all have a satellite waiting ready to go, and I thought you might like to see the final launch. So without further ado, the final launch in terms of phase 1. So let's fire that off and see what happens. Well, I guess we pretty much know what happens. It's not all that exciting. This just goes to the next phase. But still, watching for rockets launch is always a bit of fun. So there they go. And there's our 175. Satellite network established. Now build the space dry dock facility, which needs 250 dry dock structure components and 50 dry dock assembly components, because they have all been multiplied by 25. Now, just so you know, the dry dock structural components, or maybe I should change that to structural, or change this to structure component. There's their requirement, 32,000 steel each. That's what multiplying it by 16 does. 16,000 plastic, 16,000 copper. That's a fairly large amount of resource, but not nearly as... Oh, no, I don't want you to launch again. Off. Well, it doesn't actually matter if it does, to be perfectly honest. This won't keep track of it, but this one will. It's quite possible that we are going to want to... There you go. We are going to want to do additional science past where we are up to, so launching a few extra satellites now and then is probably not a big deal. And look, we're back up to decent UPS. That's very nice. Let's just have a look at our main base, see where we're at. Iron is still struggling to recover. The real question though is, where's steel? Let's just have a quick look. Steel is still well negative, so yeah, and we're slowly getting worse and worse, but that's okay. The other thing I was going to show you was this one. So you thought that was expensive. We need 250 of them, remember. This guy here, each single one requires almost 500,000 plastic, 83,000 steel, 672,000 iron plates. They are absolute monsters to produce, and we need 50 of them to get through to the next phase. So yeah, we need to concentrate on the next part of our journey, which is to build more smelting. And what are we going to do in the interim? Well, there's a couple of things that we can. I probably won't keep launching just at the moment, but in the tech we could do well, we could do that, work a robot speed, and that would be helpful. We could do astrometrics that needs 112,000 space science, which I think we probably have at this time. But it's a heavy drain on all the materials, and I'd rather do that once we have a greater supply of those materials. So another thing that we could do is this one, which is actually relatively cheap. We're just using Science Pack 1. I mean, the 4 million part of it's not that cheap, but this is a trickle drain rather than a full-on drain. So let's start that. And it'll probably take a while before this does much, but it should kick off production of red science, and with a bit of luck that'll get up to about 10,000 fairly quickly. Because it's not draining steel, it is draining iron plates, of course. It's nowhere near there yet. What's the usage? It's only at 8. It's the way the thing's set up is not quite we're not quite achieving this chaining thing that we do. Where they pass materials along from one to the other. We seem to only get about 3/4 of the efficiency that I was expecting when I did my calculations. I could have just made a mistake in my calculations, of course, but assuming I didn't, that's all we are getting, and no sign of any progress here yet, but we will see some eventually. 4 million is a fair bit, but that's not a huge drain on our resources overall. This will take some time to build up. 66,000 iron, that should be fine. Steel should be catching up to where we need it to be. Anyway, so what do we want to do now? Well, I still wish to build this out. Actually, that's stone, isn't it? I might even turn that into a landfill to fill the rest of this out, just to give myself a decent area here for processing. And we'll start with iron. Let's run over there. You get some idea of the size of this place already, just by how long it takes. That's the one that we're after. So 17 million, that's a fair amount. It's not helping clear anything. I mean, if we look up here, we do know that continuing this line does mean it cuts through this stone, but saves running a train all the way down, doesn't it? I have this one line here at the moment, which, well, let's just see. I think what I want to do is when these lanes are through, I probably want to run. I mean, this oil is kind of in the way in terms of where it's going at the moment. We're going to need to sort out oil as well. What we've got at the moment is clearly not particularly adequate. So I really want to have this push through here and send a two-lane thing down this way. Quite possibly we'll just even have this oil connect into that and not have this connection here at all. And somewhere in here I need some sort of oil stacker, probably in here. So I guess really I need to get up there first. Da-dee-da. Oh, there you go, even 4 million. won't take too long. Are we doing better with our... No, it's still only at 6.4. Not quite sure why that is. I'd expect it to be a bit better than that. We should be at a point where this is the copper here that we're heading towards. This should... I actually set it up so that it's not... This is off, so there's not enough supply here, so this is actually ideal. So this is why this train's still sitting here. We'll send the train away. It's running very light, and I'm going to move all of this just up to this next level. What's it called? Copper 6. Okay, doesn't exist there anymore. Copper 6 is now up here. Copper 6. Now, let's just have a quick look. I know I built a couple of things. I don't think I need that one. Just get rid of it. I'm pretty sure I can get rid of that. And that. Let's get rid of that. And that. That should probably get stored in something. Probably that one. There we go. Give us a little bit more room. Now, this here is really just a normal outpost. So we'll relay that, and we will delete this one to give it material. Let's give my guys, let them help. And that needs to be changed to copper. Oops, 700. That should make a fair difference. Now we can eliminate this. Oops. There we go. Right, so that means that this can proceed. And if we go to about here, jump on board this guy. I'm going to have to make sure these wires get carried through because they're not currently. You're going to have to go. We're going to need a robo port probably about here. Oh, these are disconnected for the moment. Is this in the way? I'm not sure. Find out in a second. Don't need to worry about the rock, it will take care of itself, but if we get rid of that one and put that down, there you go, taken care of. I might just add another one of these just so there is capability to move robots from the top to the bottom. This is carried on as though nothing was wrong. We're probably running out of yeah. The iron over here is our next hassle, but I don't necessarily need to get as far as that. Oh, what's going on there? Let's clear off trees and other annoying things. And that's the one that I want. Okay, let's just make sure that if I do it here, I think, yes, I do miss this, and that's the main thing. So, about there was fine. There we go. Just disconnect those bits because they won't help much. Engineering train, give me some more rail. Oops. Having this greater bot speed really does help, even with things like, you know, your personal bots. Gotta say, it's pretty awesome. Okay, let's bring the engineering train down here. And, I mean, you can see how little I actually get done in sort of time frame we've got, so this is why I do quite a lot off camera. I don't know if that's what you want or you'd like to see every blow by blow, but that's not my way. So let's go down here. It's not quite as fast as using a fat. Oh, we're out of lights, aren't we? Just noticed that. Let's grab those light fittings. We've got 28. You got another 24. Let's just run up and make sure that we have lights everywhere. I kind of like the effect, even with night vision. It looks like we do have lights there and there. Good. And let's carry on. This is the one. I don't think we've got a perfect line down below, but you never know. I guess we'll see very shortly. And no, we don't. Okay, that's fine. Before I connect that up, I'm going to need to make sure this is not a very good intersection. I'd be the first to admit that. What I probably should do is get rid of the bit that comes down here. Try and put a stacker in here. That completely, where oil will connect in, maybe should be here. And there should be an oil stacker in here if I have enough room. I don't know if I do have enough room, and that's quite a lot of surgery. Maybe I should sort out oil first. We've got plenty of time. Well, actually, maybe we don't. That's actually moving faster than I was expecting, given we've only been running 20 minutes or so, and it's at 2/3 of that. To see that much, it's not a huge percentage, but it does mean that faster than like Theory A is not going to take too long. I just want to check if it's going any faster than it was before. No, not really. Still, that's not a bad speed, 6.4 thousand. Well, that's the production, so the consumption, because we're getting sort of a 20% bonus, it's at a higher level. Although that would tend to suggest that we are burning through the 100,000 or so, and indeed it does look like we are. I wonder if this will change when production science finally catches up, if it does, and I wonder how steel is doing. Still heavily negative. Alright, well, we will sort that out. And yeah, there's the oil train coming through just now, so what's that one? It's definitely not an oil train. So, are you going up? No, you're coming over here. So the idea is really that this line should end up, I mean, this is working very well, this junction. So I might leave it, but I'd kind of prefer if these things just came down onto the main highway rather than along up here. But yeah, this junction I don't like. I don't like it all. There is an oil train that comes this way, so it is going to need an alternate route. So what I might do, I mean, where do we connect? I think I have to sort out oil right now. It's not what I wanted to do, but it kind of is the one that needs to be sorted out. So I guess we'll leave this episode there. Thanks for joining me, seeing SpaceX get through its first milestone. Many more episodes to come. Looking forward to seeing you there. See you later.